all the commissioners coming in.
Oh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, May 17th, 2017, please come to order? We're going to start tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody could please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for the benefit of those who may not have participated in a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, our procedures are as follows. We will read the legal call of the meeting as published in local newspapers. The applicant will be invited to come forward and present their case, explaining to the Commission and others present what is being requested of the property. Comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from the Commissioners. Then there will be an opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. First, those who wish to support the application may come forward. And second, those who oppose the application will then be invited to come forward and express their opinion. As this is a public hearing, must be recorded, it's necessary for the speakers to identify themselves by stating their name and address before addressing the Commission. The applicant is then free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing and the regular meeting, at which time the Commission will try to reach a decision on the application. Each applicant will be notified in writing as to the decision of this Commission and has the right to appeal in Superior Court if desired. Decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Office after 9 a.m. Seated this evening are the following members. We have Tom Cost, Ray Bauer, I'm Frank DeAndrea. We have Richard Wallace, Phil Johnson, Rich Meyer, Alan Brown, Walter Corbiere. Seated tonight for, staff present are George Kroll, Reggie Reed, our recording secretary Lisa Brewer, and the videographer tonight is Peter Schultz. The secretary, please read the legal notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on May 17th at 7:30 p.m., the location being Nathaniel B. Green Community Center, 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut, Menunketuk Room on the second floor for the following purposes. However, we have no new business to advertise, and Frank DeAndrea, Chairman.
Thank you.
There are no copies of applications.
You gotta lose one.
You have 8 people here. You gotta lose someone. Somebody
All right, Alan, you're going to be off tonight. Phil's on for the first one. Okay.
Go home and watch the game.
Guys, before we get started, I'd just like to have a moment of silence for a commissioner who passed away, George Underhill. So if we can all have a moment of silence for George, please. Thank you. Okay, so we'll start and open up the meeting with the mandatory referral. First one is, do we have to open this? Somebody make a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, this is the approval for the 824, the Mulberry Point Water Main Extension Project. Somebody here to tell us?
Look at that.
Good evening. I'm Attorney Norbert Church, and Health Director Dennis Johnson is here with me. And we have to go through this mandatory referral process because it is a town project. It will be a part of the town infrastructure. Assuming this all gets built and happens, the water company will have a share of ownership of this pipe.
Up and turn it so that the camera can see the speaker as well as the display. Sorry, thank you.
The water company has pledged $1.5 million toward this project, and we're anticipating then that the balance of the project will be paid for in the form of assessments that will be imposed on the 145 or so homes that will be serviced by this water main. When you put in the contribution from the water company and then you look at what is left, which will be what will be assessed among the residents, it'll be the ownership of this pipe will be about 48% water company based on their contribution, about 52% the town of Guilford. The water company will be paying taxes on their share of the pipe, and once the pipe is fully depreciated after 60 years, the agreement with the water company then is that the town will convey the water main to the water company in the form of a quitclaim deed for $1. Where, the town isn't normally in the business of owning water pipes, but the other point to be made is that once this is built, we have an agreement with the water company that they will be completely servicing and maintaining the water main throughout its existence. Dennis has a map here to show you where the water main will be located.
The water main is basically going to serve the two neighborhoods of Tuttle's Point, Smallboy Point, and also a smaller association here of Long Cove, Long Hill Association, which is at the Long Cove area. Currently, there's a water main on Old Stations Head Road. It's been in there for decades. And we're planning to tap into that water main and run through a private easement onto Lower Road, and then go down Lower Road into Indian Cove, and then transverse across through a private property here in Daniel Avenue, over the causeway, onto town-owned property here in Daniel Avenue, and then turn southeast again towards the Tuttle's Point area and Mulberry Point area. So it's approximately 2.4 miles total length, of which about 0.2 is just through the woods without any paving or road work or water service connection. So it's really about 2.2 miles of water main serving approximately 145 homes. It'll provide clean water for residents, a high quality and good quantity of water, provide fire protection, and will be constructed over a period of about 1.5 to 2 years.
And Dennis, can you also just briefly explain what brought us to this, what the need was?
The need was twofold. There were, in the past history of this area, there have been problems with wells contaminated with byproducts from septic systems, saltwater intrusion from Long Island Sound, high sodium, high chloride in wells. There's also been problems in the summertime when there's drought. Some of the wells have low yields, some dry up. So there's been several types of water problems, both quality and quantity in the area. A lot of the wells currently in these older homes actually overlap the septic systems because these are older, turn-of-the-century homes, and the wells are less than 75 feet away from the septic system. So it's difficult to make septic repairs that are in compliance with the health code. So those are the factors that really precipitated the need. It was driven a lot by poor water quality and the residents in the area who I think eventually got fed up with poor water quality and realized that there was an option available. And with the state health department providing drinking water revolving fund grant at 2% interest, plus a generous subsidy, which doesn't have to be paid back, it's a good project, I think, economically and environmentally.
So this is one of several steps that we have to take. The first step was we received unanimous approval from the Board of Selectmen last week. We received unanimous approval from the Board of Finance Monday of this week for essentially the bonding resolution and the approval of the easements that have been granted to us. The next step is the approval, hopefully from you tonight, and then we move on to a town meeting that will be next week. And because, again, it does involve a bonding resolution, that town meeting at the end of the evening will be adjourned to a townwide referendum for vote by voting machine, and that will occur on May 31st. Questions?
Can you just, as a threshold question, we receive 824 referrals reasonably often. And in my past 4 years, our standard of review for 824 referrals has been exceptionally low compared to our other functions here. We have never received a formal presentation, even to the level that we've just received. We've never received significant pushback on any of the 824 referrals that I'm aware of. And I think it's gone on like that for a very long time here on planning and zoning. I think that all the commissioners agree that for the most part, 824 referrals, we have treated them like the Board of Selectmen is telling us what they have already done, and then we say, thank you, we heard you, and then it's over. What is our standard of review for this project, if by any chance any people in the audience have an opinion or opposition to this project?
I believe your standard of review is, correct me if I'm wrong, is related to your town plan, your 10-year town plan, and whether it jives with that. That's what you're looking at.
So as
Conservation and development is the correct term for it. Thank you.
Elaborate on that a little bit. That's correct. And as you know, the Plan of Conservation and Development is a fairly general statement of land use and community development principles. We did include for your reference and consideration tonight a copy of the 2015, one of the pages, page 56, of the Guilford POCD 2015. One of the goals of that plan is to provide appropriate and compatible utilities and infrastructure to support Guilford's population. And then it goes on to talk about sewage disposal as strategy number 1, and strategy number 2, encourage the expansion of public water supply where appropriate. So I think the Commission should look at that statement and then determine whether you believe this proposed project conforms with that strategy, what we've identified as an action appropriate to the goal number 7, provide community facility, utilities, and infrastructure.
So I have a question for you. The Plan of Conservation and Development also calls for less development down in Marine, near the Long Island Sound. With this introduction of the water main, will that, and I guess it's more towards you, Dennis, will that make more lots subdividable, and will there be further development that's not in keeping with the Plan of Conservation and Development because now water will be available and we can get closer to wells or further away from wells?
I'm not aware of any building or lots down there that really would become classified as buildable once the public water main's installed. They're very tiny lots in that area. I don't see how you could subdivide them any further than they already are. I mean, right now the lots are so small that the septic systems are close to the wells. There's setback issues. There's septic issues with soil conditions aren't really suitable for building lots in many of these areas. I mean, there was, I think, one lot in the last 20 years, I think, known has been developed, an old orphan lot kind of in the corner of Marshall Avenue and Decatur, I think. But I don't see any wide-scale development opening up because of the water main.
So let me expand on that a little further. Whatever development it would occur, either as a result of these improvements or not, would have to conform to the zoning regulations and all the coastal site plan regulations and all of the other applicable standards of the that the Planning and Zoning Commission applies, which are themselves based on the Plan of Conservation and Development. So it's not as if development could occur that doesn't conform to your zoning code and your other development standards.
Good work, George. And one final thing, anywhere we're going across private property, that is agreeable to the property owners? We're not doing this with any eminent domain or?
We did not have to do eminent domain. We are crossing 4 private properties, and in each instance, the property owners gladly came to us and granted easements.
So back to George, back to Rich's question though. Even though you're putting in the water main here, you still have the septic issue.
Right.
Which would in some way be restrictive against a lot of new building down there anyway.
With such small lots and the area is pretty well completely developed, even if there were a potential building lot, the homeowner would have to demonstrate that they could place a septic system on the lot, which means that they've got to have, percolation tests, deep hole pits and so forth, determine whether there's ledge, high water table, and all of that go into factors as to whether you can even get to the next step of a potential building lot being buildable.
I have a question. What is the logic for, I guess because I guess what I'm looking at is a map where there are a lot of other houses that there's no water going to. Is that because of the topo there and you don't have the same kind of water problems on these other lots that come off of Mulberry Point Road?
Pretty much, going up Mulberry Point Road, the lots are quite a bit bigger in size.
Okay.
They don't have the problems with quality or quantity.
How about further down? Just
In this area here?
Yes, in that area there.
That's not part of Mulberry Point or Telespin Association. These lots up here have not complained about water quality issues either. So it's focused mainly on the more severe areas that have limited water quality and quantity. So,
Do we know that the majority of the people that could hook up to this are going to hook up to it?
We do.
I don't think that's a planning and zoning issue, but
We're anticipating servicing 145 homes. Each homeowner will be required to pay for the hookup once the water main is there. In terms of the sort of neighborhood need or neighborhood support, it's about 81 or 82% of the homeowners to be serviced have indicated their desire to hook up to water, and they did that by, the water company sent out a questionnaire saying, if we put this water main in, would you be interested in hooking up? And so you answer yes or no, and if you answer yes, then you also send back $250 to kind of put your money where your mouth is in terms of getting the number. So that 81, 82% is based on 81, 82% of 145 homeowners wanting water and sending the initial deposits to the water company.
Does that letter describe an actual cost for the hookup? Like, does that letter inform the homeowner that it will cost 47 cents or $9,000 or
yeah,
$17?
The commitment letter which Nora was talking about was accompanied by another kind of fact letter that homeowners had to reveal the costs, the assessment that they would be levied, for their share of the project, which is around $13,000 paid over 20 years. They're also made aware of what the quarterly water bill would be, in the future when they do hook up. They were also given information on what it would cost for them to personally hook up between the street and their house. So they were given all the facts, the figures, the best estimates, based upon contractors and engineers' estimates. So they were given all the information, and that was enough to muster up, 82% commitment to the project. So
Each individual got a different number based on a
no, it's
different...
based on foot. For instance, if the water service cost between the street and your foundation is based upon the distance you have to put the pipe. So there's a figure, $50 a foot. If you don't have ledge rock, it could go up to $100 plus per foot if you do have ledge rock. So they were given estimates for that cost. We don't have the resources to determine 145 estimates.
Why, can I just interject for a second? Well, I appreciate the questions here. I don't know how that part's really relevant, guys. Tom, all due respect.
Well, with this, Frank, I actually, so my main question here, and I think we're going to determine this later, is I think we need to see the whole process and the exact effects, and then weed out exactly what we're required to review. later on, because it's not totally, the comparison, because the POCD is an enormous document. It contains lots of conflicting, I would say even diametrically opposed language in many instances. And so we need to I think we need to see the entire project and then apply that to the POCD.
Project, but I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think our review is perhaps more limited to, does this conform to the zoning code, and does it conform to the plan of conservation development? Well, it's underground, going down streets, so I don't think, unless someone can point out to me where it's going to violate any of the zoning regulations. To me, a planning and code violation would be something like, we specifically have an area of town which we want to preserve in its natural state, and somebody says, well, why don't we run gas pipes in, sewer pipes, water, and a lot of other infrastructure so we can develop this property, whereas the plan of conservation and development intends that to not be developed. In this case, you've already got an area that's developed, and I think to the extent that the people want it or don't want it, the appropriate place to settle that is at the ballot box. It's not so much a land use issue, as long as, I mean, unless someone here finds this to be in conflict with a zoning regulation or plan of conservation and development, I think that's pretty much where our jurisdiction begins and ends. I mean, would you disagree, Norb, or?
Well, yeah, I agree very much so. And this is, this will not encourage any further development in the area. There's just no room to develop. It does meet a very important need, and this has, the work that we've done to get here has been with very close review by the DEEP and with close work that Dennis has been doing with the State Health Department. So the State Health Department and DEEP has given their blessing. They both understand that we have a critical need there, not only in terms of very poor water quality, but lack of water. There are, and there's almost no other way of really solving the problem other than bringing water there. Some people do have water trucked in. Some people have very, very expensive, cumbersome water treatment plants, if you will, in their homes to try to treat the water that comes out of their well. So this is really an attempt on not only state level but a town level to meet a dire need. And the town's involvement really is we're the ones who kind of make this all happen, but at the end of the day, it is paid for by the 145 some odd residents in the area.
Quick question. Does Indian Cove suffer from any of these same issues in terms of water quality or septic issues?
Yeah, Indian Cove does have a share of water quality problems as well. I don't believe it's probably as extensive or severe as Mulberry and Tuttle's Point, because, you know, if you look at Tuttle's Point here, Mulberry Point is out on a peninsula. They have water on all three sides, so they have a lot of brackish water. Indian Cove is more inland area, but some of the homes along the bay there do have significant problems with water quality, but they have elected not to participate in the project.
Another question for you, and I'm pretty much in support of this. Do you know if the homeowners were notified or if the state looked into the increase in septic system failures that goes hand in hand with water mains in the area because of increased water usage? Has anyone looked at that?
Yeah, there's been research done on that, but there's never been any situations that the DEP is aware of where there's been wide-scale septic failures resulting from extending public water. You know, you will use more water if you start adding more bedrooms to your house or add more occupants to your house. But
right. In preparing for this, I did a lot of reading, and one of the things I kept seeing over and over and over again was, and it may be just coincidental, but there is a significant increase in septic system failures because of increased water usage, because of the availability of water. And you can almost understand that if people have to truck it in, or if people have to go through, any kind of water treatment system in order to get water out. They're going to use it very judiciously, whereas when you have a water main, and again, I don't know so much that it's a planning and zoning issue. I'm just concerned that the homeowners may not understand that by having this water and by using this water, some of them are also going to have to spend some money on upgrading their septic
That
systems.
same question's been researched by the consultant and through DEP, and there's been no evidence that shows that that actually does happen. If you do have a septic problem that occurs in your house and you no longer have a well, then you have more area on your property because now you have public water. You don't have the well radius anymore to contend with, and you can make a more adequate septic repair.
I guess my only concern is that they probably should be financially prepared for that opportunity to upgrade.
Fair enough.
Yeah, one of the important things is you cannot place a septic system or septic system components within a 75-foot radius of a well. And what ends up happening is in very tight and congested areas there, those well radii overlap each other. And so that if you have a septic system failure with a well, in many instances, there's no place to make a repair because you're infringing on your own well radius or that of someone else. So by having wells come out will give more room for septic repairs.
145 houses have the pipe running across the front of their property. They're charged by the frontage they have and as far as the distance of the pipe, or is it split up between 145 houses?
It's, the plan is that the net cost of the project after water company contribution and anything else will be essentially divided, that number will be divided by 145.
Not the square footage of your front of your house that's
No.
going across?
No. And again, we're, based on the numbers that we have right now, we're anticipating that the assessment will be a little over $13,000 payable over 20 years at 2% interest. It means that the assessment they'll be paying $600-700 a year to, on the payback on the assessment over 20 years.
Hydrants, are the people can tell where the hydrants are going to be? Are they going to be on the middle of their front lawn or something? Because some of these places are small.
Hydrant design, that's part of the design, which is the next step. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah. They'll be putting fire hydrants in a certain distance. I think it's every 500 or 700 feet. Usually they're right on the edge of the property line. Not in the street, obviously, but they're, near the property line.
Dennis, you must have wrote this in the Plan of Conservation and Development. Support public water supply extensions in neighborhoods vulnerable to sea rise in accordance with the coastal resilience plan. I think that's the bottom line for the whole thing. Well failures because of septic issues now.
That's true. That was one of the recommended activities, was extending the public water because of coastal.
I have one final question. I'm going to stop asking questions. Will this increase the assessment of the value of the house for the people who do this? Were their property taxes going to go up because of this, aside from the water issue?
I can answer that based on, I've been involved in water and sewer projects in North Branford, and Old Lyme, and more often than not, yes, it does increase the value of the property.
Okay. So just so, and again, that's not a planning and zoning issue, but the property owners probably need to be reminded that there's going to be significant costs aside from just the hookup fee.
Well, on the good side of that, your insurance rates may go down if you call your insurance man. And be sure and call your insurance man, because he's not going to call you.
Not for this. Okay, so I think we should move this along then. Yes.
We have a recommended resolution, which
I'll read.
has been drafted by the
Can you,
legal authority. Can I just say one more thing about that?
of course you can.
Today, 8 o'clock in the morning, there wasn't any wind. 4:30 this afternoon, we had 21 and up mile-an-hour winds.
these septic, this, one thing that I think is very, very important to these people is that they have those hydrants. The houses are very close to each other. You take a 20-mile-an-hour wind and get a house on fire, it could burn down the whole neighborhood with no question at all. The fire department is right on top of things, there's no question at all. They're good guys, they're sharp, and they'll get out there. They got all their equipment, and now it's your turn to be sure that they have the equipment they need when they get out there. That's for your safety and their safety. So that is the biggest, one of the biggest features. Yeah, septic problems are a problem. Yeah, tax increases, all that stuff. But this is a real safety feature for you people that are out there. Just stop and think about that 40-mile-an-hour wind blowing and somebody's house catching on fire. And you only got 2 outlets there. Only 2 outlets. And one of them is smaller than a driveway.
Yeah.
So, and it's all one way. So that's something you might want to consider when you're opposing this. Not that I'm trying to say not to. If you think you've got a case, say it. But it's very, 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 very good thing you're putting in there. So that's all I want to say.
Does the public have an opportunity to comment or no?
Well, you know what? We are actually gonna do that. Technically, it's not a public hearing, so we don't have to, but I see a lot of people here, so what I'd like to do is,
Just really briefly before we do that, I just need to ask council one more question.
Go ahead.
I am directly affiliated with 3 properties to the extreme northwest of this project within the Indian Cove Association. I had inferred at the beginning of this that I don't particularly need to recuse because it seems as though Indian Cove Association properties neither gain nor lose from this project. Would you say that that's correct, or would you assert that a member of Indian Cove that is not close to this route would somehow have something to gain or lose from this project moving through?
We approached the leadership at Indian Cove, had many conversations with them about whether they wanted to participate in this project, and the basic answer was no. If there are any homes to be benefited, there are
particularly like a financial cost or benefit of some kind to the, if there was some kind of financial cost or benefit to the association that would affect my, annual fee to the Indian Cove Association, then, just let me know. It seems as though that's not the case, but I thought I'd bring that up publicly because I think I'm far enough away from this that it doesn't. I wasn't involved with the leadership.
I would think that it's neutral.
It seems neutral. Okay.
Right?
All right.
So now, just for interest, like I said, we're gonna let the public comment. Once again, please come up, state your name, your address. Can we keep, one thing I'd like out of respect for time and the fact that, we're going to let you guys talk is try not to repeat everything that everybody has already said. Can you keep your comments brief? And please keep them to remember, we're a land use commission. I would ask that you respectfully keep it to the land use issues. So we really can do nothing or benefit nothing by hearing about taxes or costs or those things. So I would really ask that you guys keep it to the land use, and we'll try to, move it along. So like I said, try to keep the comments brief and like to hear from anybody that'd like to. So
Make a quick comment about the cost. If it goes to referendum, that's when you get your say.
exactly. So like I said, it's the Land Use Commission. So you guys can come up. You got to come up, please, to the mic so we can get you on camera and you can be heard. And just remember your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is George Verba. I'm a professional engineer. I live at 763 Mulberry Point Road. I've been involved in this project for 15 years. We've been trying to get water to this area of ours, which is suffering badly under lack of water, as you have heard. But one thing I don't want to say much more is that this commission has approved the Coastal Resilience Plan, which provides for this area the coastal communities to be served with town water, with public water. So this isn't something that comes out of the blue. You, in fact, have already approved this before through the Coastal Resilience Plan. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay.
Got the resolution?
Can you please read it?
Glass of water. Resolved that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of Guilford approves the following project pursuant to Section 8-24 of the General Statutes of Connecticut. The 2017 Mulberry Point Water Main Extension Project contemplated to include approximately 2.4 water main extension to serve approximately 145 properties located in the neighborhoods of Long Cove, Mulberry Point, and Tuttle's Point, and to be connected to the existing distribution main of the Connecticut Water Company. Related equipment improvements and appurtenances, related land or easement acquisitions, and other work related to the project and to the financing therefore of. It is anticipated that the project shall be completed substantially in accordance with the map entitled Public Water Main Extension, Mulberry Point, Tuttle's Point, Long Cove, Guilford, Connecticut, as modified by the Connecticut Water Company on 12/16/14, based on the preliminary plans prepared by Luke's Engineering dated December of 2011 and entitled Water Supply Study Feasibility Report. The project includes the acquisitions of the following easements, such easements being located generally along the route of the water main extension as set out in the map reference above. Easement over the property described in volume 382 at page 803 of the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by Edwin H. Fisher Land Association, a Connecticut General Partnership. Easement over a portion of property described in volume 463 at page 763 of the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by Michael DeTilio and Karen DeTilio. Easement over a portion of property described in volume 437 at page 134 of the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by Alan L. Ashana and Sarah Ashana. Easement over the public road in the neighborhood reference on the map, property of the heirs of Marshall D. Stevens, Mulberry Point, Guilford, Connecticut, dated May 1927, revised in July 1927, scale where 1 inch equals 80 feet, prepared by Chester W. Ladd, surveyor, and recorded as development map number 83 in the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by the Mulberry Point Association Incorporated. Easement over the portion of property described in volume 182 at page 434 of the Guilford Land Records, now and or formerly owned by the Tuttle's Point Improvement Association Incorporated. Easements over the portions of properties described in volume 331 at page 266 of the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by the Long Cove Homeowners Association Incorporated. Easement over the portion of property described in volume 653 at page 557 of the Guilford Land Records, now or formerly owned by the Rhodes Family LLC, a Connecticut limited liability company. The property owners listed above have all voluntarily agreed to grant such easements to the town. Further resolved that this resolution is for approval of conceptual plans only. The project is subject to and shall comply with all applicable zoning, site plan, subdivision, inland wetland, and other laws, regulation, and permit approvals. And this resolution shall not be a determination that the project is in compliance with any such applicable laws, regulations, or permit approvals.
Second.
Okay, we have a discussion? Or do we?
We should roll call it, because
Sure.
we need to create a record.
Absolutely.
For,
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Walter?
I only have one concern about how this is drafted, because it discusses conceptual plans only, which implies to me that it might have to come back to us again sometime. The reality is that these These people need water. It's water. What are we for? So the concerns, the concerns that people might express at referendum, like the fact that the town has subjected itself to a completely open-ended commitment, while the water company has managed to strictly limit their own costs, is in effect for taxpayers in general. And it seems as though it was a very significant negotiating mistake. But this is the one and only plan that has ever made it this far. And they need water every day. So not only is our standard of review extremely low, and this not only meets or exceeds most of our plans of conservation and development goals, but it also, it really meets our requirements for basic service to residents. So we have never denied an 824, and there is absolutely no reason why we should be denying it when people cannot get water. So
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Rich?
I fully support this. I think that we have to do it. I have no concerns about land use issues. I would be concerned if I were in the area about my taxes, but that's, as far as we're concerned here,
Yep.
100% support.
Yes.
I'm in support.
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Yes, I think I've heard nothing that shows that it's not in conformance with the plan of conservation and development tonight. As a matter of fact, what testimony I have heard says that it is, as
Ditto.
pointed out. So I'm in favor of it.
Ditto.
And Tom is yes. Okay, unanimous. All members voted yes. Okay, next, thank you. Before we move on, I just want to let anybody in the audience know, and I apologize, if anybody is here for the Peter Sorrentino, otherwise known as the U-Haul, it's been withdrawn. I absolutely apologize. I should have said that right up front, so that you're not going to be hearing that tonight, if that's the only reason why you're here. Okay, could we go on then to the mandatory referral number 2? We have to take these separately? Yeah, it should be.
These are easements that were required as part of the subdivision known as Blackberry Ridge. Under our new policy, these easements have to be approved by town meeting and therefore have to go through the 8-24 process. So the selectmen wrote you a letter basically identifying the 2 easements that are part of that subdivision approval. This was subdivision approved several years ago.
Unless I'm wrong, both of these are on one legal notice.
Yeah.
So I think we vote on them at the same time.
Yeah, you can vote on them
So
together.
why don't we have it read in, please?
Okay, notice is hereby given that a special town meeting of the electors and citizens qualified to vote in the town meetings of the town of Guilford will be held at Guilford Town Hall, 31 Park Street, Guilford, Connecticut, on Monday, June 5th, 2017, at 8:30 a.m. and act on...
Yeah, if you'd
No.
like, I could make a motion.
Yeah,
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve the mandatory referral regarding conservation easements for Blackberry Ridge subdivision as described in the letter to the commission from the first selectman dated May 9, 2017.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Rich, I didn't mean to suggest that you wanted to read that, you could.
You got about a third of it in. That was it.
I had the wrong one on the first one.
All right, so we're going to go move on to public hearing items. David Matthews, somebody here to present? And this is the second public hearing.
I'm David Matthews of 20 Fox Ridge Road, Guilford, Connecticut. And we have a special permit to add a 16.5 by 33-foot addition to our existing 3-bay garage.
Has there been any changes or updates since our last meeting?
The only thing that has happened is we received a letter dated May 8, 2017 from the Inland Wetlands Commission approving the regulated activity of this addition.
That's good news. Okay, so is there any questions for the commission at this point? Should I ask the public first? One more time. Anybody from the public like to have a question or speak in favor against this project? All right, hearing none.
Close the public hearing.
Close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
David and Barbara Denoa, if I said that right. Was I close?
Close enough. I'm David Denoya, my wife is Barbara over here. We presented 2 weeks ago to replace an existing 2-car garage with a 3-car garage. This was approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Our neighbors our abutters have written letters in positive to this, and we're just waiting for final approval. There's been no changes since last time we spoke.
Questions? No? Public? Anybody have a question? Speak in favor or against?
Second? Yeah, just one quick question. George, do you know what the variances were that were granted on this? Just out of...
I can tell you that.
Yes, could you?
So there were 4 variances. The first one was street setback. The second one was combined sideline setbacks for 1 foot. One was for lot coverage, because we're in R8 zoning, but we only have 1 acre. And the third one was for height.
Okay.
You did them all.
Thank you.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We're just
No,
closing
close.
the-
Yep. Yep, we are closed. Thank you, sir. VFW.
Russell.
We heard this one.
Yes. Russell Campaign, this is the second hearing for VFW. There's been no changes since we last presented, so if there's any questions, I can answer them and set up.
Looks like there was a letter from Dennis Johnson dated May 16th related to this application. The applicant's proposed building renovations and parking lot addition will not affect the design capacity or location of the existing septic system. Based upon site plan review, it is recommended that the applicant's proposed special permit be approved.
At the last meeting that you were agreeable to the same conditions with regard to hours of operation as on the previous
Yes.
application? Okay.
But we've gone through that in quite a bit of detail in the last site plan review, and we're happy carrying that forward. And there was quite a bit of neighbor input on that when we first applied, and so carrying that forward, I think, is the right way to move forward.
Russ, is it accurate to say that they're mostly concerned about the way it echoes across the lake?
I'm sorry, what? Yes, there wasn't strong. I mean, they felt that they haven't had any issues in the past ever, and the promise is that this will continue to move forward. And I think we've sort of made the argument that it's going to be fully air conditioned where it isn't now, and so the doors can be closed versus open, which is kind of the policy that there is now. But the hours of operation, they don't plan to really expand. There might be a few more events, but the size of the events is still limited by the parking and the scale, and so it'll be similar to what's there now.
Likely to spill out into the parking lot less often.
There were a couple comments about some motorcycle rallies and other things along those lines. They actually are more often Fireman's Field that they think is associated with the VFW. There's 2 or 3 events that are in Fireman's Field just beyond, and I think people associate further down in the mill area that's actually coming from VFW, but it's actually coming from Fireman's Field.
Any other questions from the commission? 1 second, let me see if the public wants to talk again. Anybody from the public like to speak? Okay, go ahead, Rich, do that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you, Russ. Can we get, we got Green Grove. This is the second public hearing as well.
Oh, this is the retirement.
Yes, sir. This is Marana.
Philip Murata, Jr. It's my second time here. In addition to Green Grove, the only thing, I sent you guys some pictures so you get a better idea of what I was doing, and that's the only change.
You meet with Historic District?
Yeah, I did.
And?
They heard me, and then they said, come back.
What does that mean?
What does that mean, George?
That means you can't get a building permit until they approve it.
Okay.
Now, we can still go ahead.
Okay, so there's been no changes. Anybody from the commission have any questions?
We have some pictures, we'll pass them around.
I think they're going to retire in comfort there in this last of their comfort zone.
Anybody from the public have any questions or comments? Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so it's withdrawn. We're going to approve can we get an approval for the revised agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Let's deliberate.
All right. David Matthews. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit application for David Matthews at 20 Foxbridge Road, map 78, lot 35-12, for an accessory structure over 750 square feet as shown on an application dated March 29th, 2017. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on May 26, 2017, and upon filing with the town clerk.
Second.
Okay, well, you're on for all of these, right?
Oh, yeah, no, there was no other.
No, not the conflict because of the first public hearing.
Oh, yeah, I reviewed this
Okay.
tightly.
All right, perfect.
Extensively.
Okay, so then,
I got to watch you as chairman.
Thank you.
did a great job. You're also doing a great job now in person.
appreciate it. All right, so I will call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next.
Denoya. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit application for David and Barbara Denoya, 2734 Long Hill Road, map 104, lot 17, for an accessory structure over 750 square feet, as shown in an application dated 3/29/17. This application is approved with the following conditions. With none attached, the application is approved based on the finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on May 26th and upon filing with the town clerk.
Second.
I should say with the variances granted.
By ZBA.
Yeah.
Can we amend that, Lisa? The conditions being that it complies with the variances granted by the zoning board.
It's already done, I could tell.
Okay.
Resecond it, Rich?
Second.
All right, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, unanimous. Next, VFW. Is there a motion in here?
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit site plan and CAM application for VFW post number 7666 at 57 Mill Road, map 47, lot 62 is shown on Guilford VFW post 7666. Plans prepared by CK Architects and Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates, 9 sheets dated March 28, 2017. This application is approved with the following conditions. One, that all lighting be dark sky friendly and no lighting shall overcast to the wetlands or water courses. Number two, that that live music or sound reproduction equipment be prohibited outside of the building. Number three, that the hours of operations for events be restricted to no later than 11 p.m. on weekdays and 12 p.m. on weekends, Friday and Saturday. This application is approved based upon a finding that with the variance granted, it conforms to the zoning code and is consistent with the coastal area management policies of the state of Connecticut. Special permit is effective on May 26, 2017, and upon filing with the town clerk.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Green Grove.
Green Grove.
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit and site plan for Green Grove Incorporated, 148 Whitfield Street, map 33, lot 6, to add a 300-square-foot addition as shown on reference to the drawings received. This application is approved based on finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on May 26, 2017, and upon filing with the town clerk. It is noted that no building permit for this project will be issued until a certificate of appropriateness has been granted by the Historic District Commission.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You guys all right over there? You already voted? I missed it.
I'm good with that.
All right, good. Unanimous. Okay, so let's move on to site plans. We have New Haven Middlesex Realtors.
Mr. Harkins.
I'll read the motion. Well, we gotta have the presentation.
Get them through.
Push it through.
Make it quick.
Make it as quick as we can. A lot of time and effort went in there. Pretty pictures. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Michael Harkin. I'm a professional engineer and principal of Harkin Engineering, located at 78 Wolf Hollow Lane in the town of Killingworth, Connecticut. Here tonight on behalf of our clients, the New Haven Middlesex Realtors, for their proposed project to be located at 2730 Boston Post Road. Right now, the owner of the site is 2730 Boston Post Road LLC, which is Cherry Hill Construction. The applicant is New Haven Middlesex Association of Realtors, Inc., who will be purchasing the property from Cherry Hill to relocate their business to the subject site. You may remember I was here at the beginning of April. I gave a full overview of the project. It's come full circle now with the architectural plans and the landscape architect and lighting. So I'll go over it real quick and brief, and then I'll turn it over to John Matthews, who's the architect on the project. So the site's located in the TC3 zone. It's comprised of 5.2 acres. It's the old Broadway Mason landscape site. The building itself is going to virtually stay the way it is. You can see on the existing site plan, you have the landscaping, bins in back. There's some greenhouses and such off to the side. So this site is almost a completely disturbed site. The proposal, which the architect will get in depth, is there's a little gap between the buildings. We're going to be filling that in with an addition, putting a large-scale addition on the back for the classroom aspect. The front entryway will remain, but we will also have a side entry to the subject building. And in the back area, we're going to be removing those bins and using them as walls throughout the property, and then pave the back parking lot, have the appropriate site lighting and islands, and stripe that area as well. The area to the west of the property, which currently is a driveway, will be closed down. We're going to have some picnic benches in that area, so when there is classrooms being held, that at break time they can walk out and sit on the patio. It's important to note that we ran this area, this closing down, by the fire department. Obviously, they have 360 all the way around, so I brought it to the fire department's attention. They took a look at it, and they really don't have a problem with it. The second thing to note is that we do have septic approval from the health department. We do have favorable approval from the Design Review Commission. Again, we have a favorable approval from the fire department, and we meet all the zoning requirements as far as the bulk standards, setbacks, lot coverage, parking, and things of that nature. So also on our plan, we have a large infiltration basin that we designed towards the rear of the property to create a zero net increase in stormwater runoff. That has been reviewed by the engineering department. The next plan in our project plan set is the regrading of that back area prior to paving. We're taking the roof leader runoff from the addition and putting that into an underground detention system. And then we have the above-ground detention system to handle the surface flow runoff. As part of this project, we'll be installing a new septic system to handle the additional flows to the building. Again, that's been approved by Mr. Dennis Johnson. And then lastly, in our project plan set, we just have the details for construction, the striping, the handicap parking requirements, and things of that nature. And then we have a full detail on that underground detention system and the maintenance notes pursuant to the town engineer's request. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Matthews, who's the architect of the project, and he can go through the building itself and the modifications, and then we'll put it over to John Cunningham, who's the landscape architect.
Thanks, Mike. I'm John Matthews, architect with offices at 817 Boston Post Road. This is Mike's plan with some color on it, which means you can read it a little better.
Can you actually go to this side of the mic too, so the mic can pick you up?
Okay,
If you don't mind.
I'll do that. Well, here's the colored site plan. There's just some quick photos that show the existing building from the street, from the sides, the side and the rear. We're basically adding on to the left rear side of the building a 38 by 40 addition. And that addition is located right here, which would be coming off the building right there. It's really not visible from the street. Essentially, the existing building footprint is this. We're rebuilding the roof over that because we're raising it for the height needed for the training room. We're infilling this niche, as Mike referred to. So we have 7,400 square feet of building. We have offices for the staff of 10. We have a training room that will accommodate like 85 people. And the New Haven Board of Realtors has 2,700 members, so 80 is a good number for them. As Mike mentioned, we went to the Design Review Board twice. This is the final version. Basically, what we're adding to the building is on the east side, we're changing the entrance to be off the driveway. We've added a pediment roof here, which mimics the original entrance in the front of the building. The siding would be essentially the same, the roofing would be the same colors. We did a few small tweaks with the design review. We've eliminated this little gable up here and took that off, which I think improves the project. The other thing that we have is a photometrics plan, which we were requested to have for design review. We have a good plan here. We're using 3000 K lights, which is the warmer side rather than the cooler side. As Mike mentioned, we meet all the criteria for zoning here. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to.
We do have a letter here from Dennis Johnson dated May 16th. It says, soil testing conducted on the applicant's lot on October 10th, 2001, and that's no typo, revealed suitable conditions for construction of a septic system to serve the proposed real estate office and training classroom. An engineered design site and septic system plan dated March 28, 2017, prepared by Harkin Engineering, has been approved for construction of the septic system. The building will be served by public water supply. Based upon soil test results and site plan review, it is recommended that the applicant's proposed site plan revisions be approved.
I'd like to have John Cunningham show you the landscape plan very quickly.
Hey, I see the front of the building there. That's the front of the building you're showing up there on your sheet there. What about
This is the front of the building
All
here.
right, where's
which
the
is-
back of the building?
From the top.
This is the left side of the building, which will now be the entryway.
Directly behind the front of the building, there's a flat roof.
Yes.
What are we doing? We're putting one roof over the whole thing?
No, that stays, this piece stays flat. It's shielded by the two roofs that wrap around.
So you're going to still have a flat roof back there?
Yes, and that's where all the air conditioning units go, up there. You won't see them from the street or the road. They're totally, I can show you a section. Here's the flat roof in the
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Here's the air conditioners in the back.
So where were your air conditioner, on top of the building there?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to have to redo the roof, okay.
So you won't see them from the ground or from the road, because they're shielded by the,
So what's going to be inside that flat building on the back side?
I'm sorry?
Inside the back of the building, but the flat roof underneath, you got the air conditioners on top. What's going to be underneath there? What is that?
Classroom, I think.
No, that is that's the break room and the board room.
Okay. Because I know it was storage for cars and trucks and stuff.
Yeah, that part's really going to be demolished and rebuilt, which is the area you're referring to right here.
Okay.
John?
Mr. Cunningham. Give me the lighting plan.
Okay. You can put it up there with the photos if you want.
Good evening, John Cunningham, owner of TEC Landscape Design, located at 62 Wall Street in Madison, Connecticut. I'll be brief. It's a very simple landscape plan. We're really leaving the property really as is out by the road. We're just removing some things. There's an existing concrete block wall that runs along Route 1. We're removing that. It's poorly constructed. It's a single course. We're getting rid of it. We're leaving the street trees out there. The sugar maples are all in good shape. We're building a new head wall, probably out of fieldstone. There's a water course that moves down here that we're leaving as is with the concrete block wall that won't really be seen from Route 1. We suggested to remove the invasives that have moved into there, which Wetland Board likes. This green on the plan is probably maintained lawn. There are some additional plantings that are on site right now that are going to remain there. Existing trees that soften the secondary drive on the property are going to remain. We have a couple different things from design review. We're going to use some planters where my thumb is in the front of the building to try to get some green because the parking is right directly in front of the building, all right? As you move down to the back, we were also asked to put some shade trees in the parking area. These will be honey locust. Okay, there'll be 2 trees per island with a juniper ground cover. And as John mentioned, we do have a photometrics plan. It's a full cutoff light, which is, everyone knows, is dark sky compliant. This was our photometrics plan in design review. I just wanted to point out we did remove a couple of the posts. So there will be no light posts on Route 1. Okay, there'll just be illumination from the building. We also removed the light posts in the center of the parking lot. So these circles, instead of really touching each other, kind of spread back out in the back of the building.
So let me just ask you a question. There's parking lots in front of the building. Is there going to be enough light
Yes, there is.
without those there?
Absolutely correct. Okay.
Just for safety concerns.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
There's plenty of light on the building. There's a lot of light that is underneath all these eaves and coming back down the walkway. There's plenty of illumination. It's usually not shown on a photometrics plan, the light fixtures themselves that are on the building, unless you specifically ask for that. It's usually a site thing. There's not really much else to talk about. There is a seating area that's existing right now. Okay, it's a form of concrete paver that's called like a grass cell. It's in deterioration. We're moving through that. It might remain here, which is existing. It might also move behind the building, and I believe we told design review we would bring that back to them after we made a final decision.
Tearing it up there and putting in a similar sort of structure right behind the building?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
You're thinking about tearing it up where it is?
These are just existing dry pavers
Yeah.
with weeds growing through them.
So you're thinking about taking
We're
those and
thinking,
moving them?
we're playing around with trying to get anyone that's in the building outside to get some fresh air, and we're trying to decide if we want to leave our seating area here that's existing or move it to a new area where my finger is right now, behind the building.
So this looks great. I guess my only question is, how did you manage to make it all just a site plan review? There's no SP, there's nothing.
Magic. No, a lot of hard work. When we investigated the property, and excuse me for not introducing them at the beginning, we have two of our clients here from New Haven, Middlesex Realtor Association. So if you'd like to hear what their business physically is, they are here. They can answer and bring those, answer the questions for you. But we really looked into the site for them, and it just fell into place, perfectly as far as what they needed. The building fit their needs 100%, and it was a simple site plan. And we're leaving basically that building intact, just giving it a real good facelift in that whole section of town.
We had a letter from Dennis dated today. Were you aware of this?
I did not get it.
Not Dennis, Kevin.
Kevin.
This is dated today, May 17th, to the Guilford Planning and Zoning from Kevin McGee, Environmental Planner, RE New Haven Middlesex Realtors, 2730 Boston Post Road, Guilford, Connecticut. Assessor Map 83, Lot 24. The applicant has completed the checklist to guide low-impact development best management practices and is utilizing some of the recommended practices. The revised plans submitted to the inland wetlands show that the stormwater management system consisting of roof leaders that discharge into a subsurface infiltration system and sheet flow from the parking lot into an infiltration basement. The plans for the project have sedimentation and erosion control procedures and are in compliance with Section 273-97B, subsection 6 of the zoning regs. The Guilford Inland Wetlands, at its May 10th, 2017 meeting, approved a regulated activity with conditions for proposed building additions and site improvements in order to change the existing landscape business garden center into a commercial office within a 100-foot upland jurisdictional review area. In order to make sure that the wetlands are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. The Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer shall be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site construction. 2, to assure that future compliance of the stormwater management system is in accordance with sections 273-75F of the zoning code. A written maintenance and operation manual for stormwater management systems located at the subject site. The manual should provide provisions for yearly inspection, maintenance of stormwater system, and yearly reports to the town engineer. The maintenance schedule should include, but not be limited to, weekly, monthly, and quarterly inspections of the property for litter monitoring and dumpster and outside storage areas, monitoring of the infiltration basins, the removal of accumulated material and non-native invasive species in the environment, in the infiltration basin. The maintenance plan needs to provide a statement that the stormwater management plan will be reviewed annually so that the inspection maintenance requirements may be modified and that any changes to the plan would require the approval of the town engineer. B, an as-built drawing of the completed stormwater system prepared in accordance with section 273-75F, stormwater management subsection 6 construction. And C, the applicant shall file a maintenance covenant on the land records as required by section 273-75F, stormwater management subsection 7, maintenance covenants of the Town of Guilford zoning code.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree to all of them. The only thing that I have a little bit of questioning is the maintenance schedule shall include but not limited to the weekly inspections for the litter, and then we have to report to the town engineer. That's something that we do. You know, they'll clean up as they go. I don't think, you know, personally that they have to fill out a report that they checked the litter weekly. That's my only comment on that. But all the other stuff, the detention basins, the infiltration, I have a detailed post-development stormwater pollution plan on our detail.
So if you don't agree that that should be in there, we don't need to include it.
I would agree that that probably isn't necessary.
Term of endearment.
Yeah. Anybody else have an opinion on that?
I've been happy by doing it twice or once.
No, I would just say we could eliminate that one, unless somebody feels it very strongly.
I'll tell you what I think, and this came out in wetlands. One of the applicants said during his explanation of why we should pass it, that this is what they do. They're New Haven, the Middlesex Realtors. That's what they do. They're not going to do this wrong. They're not going to let their property, their facility, have garbage blowing around. So
Right.
I think we're micromanaging them.
Okay. So we could, when we do that, we'll eliminate that one. Strike it. Okay.
Strike that.
Any other questions, guys?
I'm good.
Nope. Okay, so this
Who's
one.
got a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion.
Got it.
I'll read it if you want. The Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for New Haven Middlesex Realtors, 2730 Boston Post Road, map 83, lot 24, is shown on something called the New Haven Middlesex Realtors 6 sheets prepared by Harkin Engineering dated February 7, 2017, revised to 3/28/17. Architectural plans, New Haven Middlesex Realtors, 5 sheets prepared by John Matthews, Architect and Planning. The application approved with the following conditions. And what were the conditions again?
Well, I would probably just incorporate Kevin's May 17th, 2017 letter to the commission regarding the application,
Okay,
with
we'll
the
do that.
exception of
The litter control.
Right.
With the exception of the litter.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Can I add to that? The landscape plan by TEC Landscape, which dated appropriately, and also the lighting plan to the list of plans that you're approving?
I think they're on, well, I guess John, but his lighting plan was on your.
Just do it anyway.
Yeah, yes, yes,
Yeah,
I
very good.
approve it,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, no problem.
Call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Next guy, Summit Suite LLC.
Summit Suite.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Saglambini. I'm representing Hamza Javi and Summit Suite LLC. I'm here on behalf of Hamza Javi. I'm here to reduce the parking on the site. And the reason for that is to give it more of a residential feel than a commercial feel there. That's the major reason why we're here. The old site plan had 57 spaces. The new site plan has 44 spaces. We still have 4 handicap spaces for the new site. Also, the last-minute change on the print. We changed the stoops. We added on there a 7-foot long by 11-foot wide front stoop on building number B in the front. On the back side, we added 2 pads, 7 feet by 9 feet wide for the back side of the building. This project went by the fire marshal and he approved it. He had no problem with it. That's pretty much it.
We vetted this pretty extensively at staff meeting. This is a de minimis change. There was way more parking than necessary. I think we all realized that, and as the developer started looking at how to make the residential units a little more attractive in a couple of locations, adding some landscape area and grass areas in lieu of parking, was a really good idea. So these changes represent that. I guess you have a new revision with those pads that are,
Today,
which is
we added those
today's
pads.
revision date. So it's they have still more parking than the zoning requires. They can always add more parking later on if they need it, which is highly unlikely given the size of the projects, but I'd recommend you approve it.
We just need to revise the motion. It says revised to 5917, the plan.
So that will be revised to 517.
Right.
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan revision for Summit Suite LLC at 2455 Boston Post Road, map 84, lot 30, as shown on proposed modification of parking layout plan, the Muse of Guilford, prepared by Frank Magota, dated August 9th, 2016, revised to May 17th, 2017. This application is approved upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Any discussion?
I think it's great. This one area of Guilford is really starting to take off right now. This one section, that's what we're dealing with. They're all right next to each other. This is great, and finally getting put to use. I think this is perfect.
Okay. Call the vote, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you. Congratulations.
2772 Boston Post Road, Guilford LLC.
Steinberg.
Good evening, Jim Preddy with Griscolo Engineering in Brantford, 2772 Boston Post Road. We were here the same month last year. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved it on May 4th last year. Site plan, this is the original site here. There's an existing house there. The pond looks like it was probably man-made for probably watering horses at the time. The plan that was approved last year was for a restaurant on the first floor and 5 one-bedroom apartments on the second floor. We had 54 parking spaces, I believe.
The Montana property, right?
Yes, the realtors are right next door here. It was just up here. This was the plan that was approved, the building, all the parking. We have a pretty extensive stormwater infiltration system with overflow that kind of came out into this peninsula between the two wetland areas. The new plan, there was a regulation change to allow additional apartments in this zone. The restaurant folks are looking elsewhere, so now we have 5 units below and 5 units above. So it's a residential structure now. And because of the use change, everything is scaled back significantly. The building has increased slightly, 2%, but the parking has changed from 54 to 19 parking spaces. The retaining wall that was along this edge near the pond is reduced from 135 to 90 feet. The overall impervious surface ratio has changed from 40 down to 28%. So overall, there's about a 10,000 square foot impervious reduction. The drainage outlet that was over here, because of the reduced footprint, we were able to move it up further out of the wetland area, the regulated area. The septic system shown in orange there has gotten slightly smaller as well. The curb cuts are in basically the same location. This was the only real area that the curb cut, the DOT would have allowed anyhow because of the site limitations over here. We've been back to wetlands for the change. They've approved it. Obviously, it's a better situation as far as wetlands is concerned because there's a lot less coverage here. We've been back to the design review committee multiple times. They've approved it with a couple conditions. They want a new plant list and they want a revised lighting plan. And we have sound lighting working on that now. But they encouraged us to come before you to keep the project rolling.
You got a curb cut on both roads, right?
Yes. There's an in and out.
That one right there is.
Yes. The fire marshal has also looked at this too. He's approved it.
This has been extensively reviewed by design review, favorably reported with a couple suggestions on landscaping and lighting planning. They like the building design by plans ahead, so looks like hopefully the project will move forward.
One thing that I also want to bring up, and I'm sure it's still the case, these are ADA compliant on the lower floor.
That's correct.
So folks that have physical limitations will finally have a place in Guilford that they can easily get in and out of.
The back apartments access that grade, and the front apartments have stairs that come up inside.
Excellent design.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Letter? Okay, let's read those in.
Got one from Dennis Johnson dated yesterday, May 16th. Subject 2772 Boston Post Road, Guilford LLC, 2772 Boston Post Road, map 83, lot 25. Soil testing conducted on the applicant's lot on April 18, 2016 revealed suitable conditions for construction of a septic system to serve the proposed 10-bedroom apartment building. An engineer designed site and septic system plan dated February 13, 2017, prepared by Criscolo Engineering, has been approved for construction of the septic system. The building will be served by the public water supply. Based on soil test and site plan review, it is recommended the applicant's proposed site plan be approved.
Quick question. So there are 10 units, they're all one bedroom? Okay.
Changes at the size.
Who wants to do Kevin's?
What's your nearest bus stop for DOT there?
Actually, it's right there. Yeah, that's right where the curb cut is. The sign actually has to get moved over.
That's where it's going to stay there.
Yes.
Great.
We had one of the requirements for DOT is to locate all the signs and relocate them if necessary.
That's technically beyond our scope anyway. This looks great, thanks.
There's another big one. Anybody want to read it?
I'll do that if no one else wants.
It's your turn. Give it to Walter, he's quick too.
I'm quick, I can do it really quick.
All right.
Okay, ready? May 17th, 2017, Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission, Kevin McGee, 2772 BPR, Guilford LLC. The applicant has completed a checklist to guide low-impact development best management practices, and utilizing some of the recommended practices. The stormwater system is developed utilizing low-impact design principle. The stormwater management system consists of catch basins and roof leaders that discharge into the subsurface infiltration system that overflows to a riprap stilling basin. The stormwater system is also designed to attenuate off-site discharges at less than existing levels. The plans for the project have sedimentation and erosion control procedures and are in compliance with 27397B subsection 6 of the zoning regulations. The Guilford Inland Wetland Commission at its April 12, 2017 meeting approved a modification of the regulated activity with conditions for the construction of a new two-story building for the residential use within 100 feet upland jurisdictional review area. In order to make sure that the wetlands are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. The Guilford Planning and Zoning Enforcement Officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation erosion control measures prior to any site construction. To assure future compliance with the stormwater management system in accordance with Section 273-75F of the zoning code, upon completion of the site plan application, but prior to commencement of any work, the applicant shall execute an agreement and file a bond with the Planning and Zoning Commission to guarantee completion and maintenance of the work required by the approved stormwater management plan, a written management and operation manual for all stormwater management systems located at the subject site. The manual should provide for provisions for yearly inspection, maintenance, of the stormwater system, and yearly reports to the town engineer. The maintenance schedule shall include, but not be limited to, weekly, monthly, and quarterly inspection of the property for litter. Here we go again. Monitoring the dumpster and outside storage areas, and monitoring the catch basins, removal of accumulated material and non-native invasive species in the outlet basin. The maintenance plan needs to provide a statement that the stormwater management plan will be reviewed annually so that the inspection maintenance requirements may be modified so that any changes to the plan would be required the approval of the town engineer. An as-built drawing of the completed stormwater system prepared in accordance with 273-75F Stormwater Management Subsection 6 construction. The applicant shall file a maintenance covenant of land records as required by 273-75F Stormwater Management Subsection 7 Maintenance Covenant of the Town of Guilford Code. And I would suggest that they don't need to have this weekly monitoring of litter and report it to the town. I think that we're getting a little heavy-handed with this. So other than that, that's what it says, but I would recommend that we take out the litter reporting.
I agree. Okay, I think that's it for, do we have any other questions?
I'm 100% good.
Motion, please.
I thought there was something else here. I guess not. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion. Vote of the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan revision for 2772 BPR Guilford LLC at 2772 Boston Post Road, map 83, lot 25, as shown on engineering plans. 6 sheets prepared by Chris Gullo Engineering LLC, dated 3/4/16, revised to 2/13/17. Landscape and architectural plans prepared by Plans Ahead LLC, 2 sheets dated 5/10/17. This application is approved with the following conditions. Number 1, that prior to the issuance of a building permit, building material and color details and landscape details and plant lists be reviewed by the Design Review Committee. And number 2, that we incorporate all the conditions in the letter from Kevin McGee dated May 17th, with the exception of the one regarding the litter. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Second. Add lighting plans to the DR, the Design Review Committee report, materials.
Okay, I'll open it up again and add that.
Also, the, is that the latest revision date on the engineering plans, 2/13? Doesn't seem right.
No, you should have the most current plans.
I think that's a typo.
Is it?
What is the date there?
No, what's the typo? There was a revision last Thursday, whatever that date was.
Okay.
That
That would be, whatever that date is, we'll correct that.
Okay, prior Thursday.
Right.
So now I can ask, in discussion, I can ask
Sure.
a question. Is this language, is this the language that we've been using? The maintenance plan needs to provide a statement that the stormwater management plan will be reviewed annually?
I can't say for certain, I think that's what we do.
What would you do annually?
I don't know, I'm not involved in that.
It doesn't say they have to seek out new approval, it just says that it's reviewed.
No, it has to be so that the inspection maintenance requirements may be modified, and then any changes to the plan would be approved by the town engineer.
I can't answer that question.
Is that part of the regulation, George? Or
I
is that
believe-
something Kevin added?
I believe it's part of the regulation.
That's what I thought, and if it is, it's got to be there until we change the regulation.
I believe that's the case, but I'm not positive.
We do that a lot. That language is
That's pretty
very
standard, that's
common.
pretty standard language he had.
You okay with that? For now?
All right.
Well, we can just bring it up. Maybe there's going to be a regulation, clarification, simplification.
Yeah, that simplification aspect.
Any other discussion? I'm good. So I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move on to applications to be received.
Special permits.
We got one here, David Strong.
Make a motion, we receive it and set a hearing date for 6/21.
Second.
Do we want to?
How about 6-7 first?
Followed by 6.
6F, so moved.
There you go.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? This is an interesting one, correspondence.
Yeah, what is this first one here?
This first one already happened, but let's read it anyway. Scratch it. Okay, withdrawn.
What was it?
Probably Mother's Day plans.
The farmer's market.
I didn't see anything happening, and I drove by a couple times, but.
They also already have permission to put a bunch of stuff out there as is. There's a certain amount of space.
That's where I got my Christmas.
But that's not a farmer's market.
All right, so.
Were they going to allow other people come in?
Farmers, a bunch of farmers.
Because the Dudley Farm already has.
I don't know. Well, I don't think it happened, though, because I remember going down.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that Saturday, but.
So number 2, the Guilford Mooring.
Guilford Mooring.
They,
An outdoor festival, 528.
All right.
Got somebody here.
no,
Hey.
Jason Karen, representing Guilford Mooring, 505 Whitfield Street. How we doing?
How are you?
Excellent.
Watched the whole show today.
Yeah, I got to see the whole thing. That was fun. Yeah. Hey, we got to do what we got to do.
yes, sir.
So we were planning on having a mooring fest on the Sunday of Memorial Day. The plan is to have local, all Guilford shops, restaurants, food trucks, music in the parking lot. We wanted to desperately get together with the Guilford Fund, but due to timing, it just didn't happen because we'd like this to be a benefit as well as a summer kickoff party, kind of do it on an annual basis. So we have valet parking from Pro Park that's going to be there to help with the parking situation. They're actually starting on Thursday. And inside the parking lot, I did draw, not a good picture, but a picture of kind of how we would set it up. There would be food trucks, the marketplace would be there, some shops, Sam and Oliver, some shops in downtown, and in the back by the Lobster Pound, we'd have a little stage for a band. This year, we're going to benefit veterans via Salute Vodka. They every bottle they sell, they donate towards veterans. They're going to raffle off a boat for them that day. So we're hoping it's going to be a success and bring all the community in.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If they're doing this in the parking lot, does that mean that all of the cars are going to be parked at the marina? And
Well, we were thinking, we've noticed on holiday Sundays that the train commuter lot is mostly empty, so the valet would go back and forth there. We would try to leave that open for boaters and such.
Right, because it's going to be a big
Yeah,
weekend for
and
them.
we're going to walk over and hopefully talk with our neighbor, Mr. Rothberg, and see if we can use that.
And he's not concerned about Pa's Place losing too much business to this, I'm sure.
On Sunday, yes.
Exactly.
How are the people coming going to know where that spot is?
I'm sorry?
The parking spot that you have.
The valet is going to be right out front, so they'll be able to be, they'll park the cars for them, yes. It's a free service.
So what do we do with this? Is it just correspondence? Do we vote on this?
We can make a motion.
Special event.
Okay.
It's a one-day event.
Notified any of the neighbors, or
I
what's
only-
the plan on that?
So I've only got one confusion here, which is that Mr. Romay is the owner of Guilford Mooring Restaurant.
Yeah.
He doesn't own 505 Whitfield LLC, does he? He's not the part owner in 505 Whitfield.
Mean the property itself?
Correct.
No, Jim Cohn is the owner.
So no, I just mean like, so usually we have something from the actual owner of the property to, like usually we follow a trade, like you're essentially coming here for Mr. Romay, and Mr. Romay is requesting it, and the owner of, one of the owners, like Mr. Jim Cohn,
Yes.
says he's fine with it.
Okay.
That consistently happens, like around the green, none of these people own, none of the people in those.
I'm new to this thing, so.
So, it's, right, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Send
Thank
you
you.
under the bus here.
Yes, that's all right. And by the way, air conditioning just was turned on today, so make that a matter of record.
Here you go.
That's good advertising.
We gotta get it when we can.
It's so closely interwoven this,
But-
that it's almost as though he's speaking for the owner. And I get where you're coming from. Normally, we have the owner come and do this.
Well, no, the owner doesn't have to, it's just usually the owner of the property provides something saying that they're
Well, what if
supporting.
it's a land lease?
Is it a land lease?
Yeah, we do lease that. The parking lot is our responsibility, part of the lease.
See what I'm saying? So I don't think that would apply then.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, all right.
If you like, I can ask him to write a letter.
And I withdraw the question. I think we're good.
Okay.
So do we need to make a motion to approve
Yeah,
this?
let's make a motion and.
I make a motion that we approve this.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I get a vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Congratulations. Good
Thank
work,
you.
by the
Well, I
way.
appreciate it.
One abstention.
See how it goes. That's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for staying.
I'm parking my lawn.
Okay, TNT fireworks.
TNT,
Dynamite.
Do what they do.
which is, the Boston Comets.
Which one's that one? Oh, yeah, shoot.
Chris LaTaraka, 17 Hesse Road, Hamden, Connecticut. TNT Fireworks, we're applying to erect a 20 by 40 temporary tent for the sale of legal fireworks.
Is this in the parking lot or where the restaurant pad is?
It's in the parking lot.
Will that negatively impact the ability of cars to park there in any way, or is this in the
No,
far
where it's actually situated, we can't be in the flow of traffic, so we're always put to the side or to the back. I'm not sure exactly on the site map where we have it listed, but we do have one.
A little picture here.
We do. No past setback.
And we do have the permission of the
How old
owner.
is this? I don't even know how old this location is. It looks new.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
It was very controversial for a while.
Wasn't there a picture?
It's a great addition.
No.
We're all very happy with it. You're not going to be shooting off any fireworks, you're just going to be
No.
selling them.
Yeah, he's gonna be shooting the whole thing.
Nope.
Oh, Connecticut's all ground-based fireworks anyway.
Yeah, it's all ground-based, sparkler-rated fireworks. No.
They were public fireworks, like people were screaming, yelling about this.
We discussed this in our staff meeting with the police and fire, we don't have any problem.
So how does the fire department convey to us that they are cool with a 20 by 40 tent full of explosives?
Well, these are all legal, I wouldn't call them explosives, it's like sparklers and things like that.
No, I understand that. I understand it from a practical standpoint,
If
they're
the fire
legal.
department doesn't like it, they won't let them put it up.
Correct.
Right, but when does the fire department tell us, when does the fire department
They meet
correspond
with
with
us
us?
and every Tuesday morning, review these applications. If they have an issue, they'll let us know.
So George, hypothetically, let's say that I owned Travis Mobile, and I wanted to sell fireworks out of a tent on their parking lot. That's cool, too?
It's up to, if the commission approves it, yeah.
So the chief doesn't give you anything in writing that says that this
No,
is,
they never give us anything, right? Fire does.
but they met with you and said this was
Yeah.
not a problem.
And the police department
Police
said
said
it
as
wasn't
well.
either.
And that was just that was yesterday?
Tuesday, right,
Yep.
at the staff meeting.
Okay. Okay. I'm good.
Any other questions?
No.
You need a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve this.
Second.
All in favor?
Congratulations.
I'm going to abstain because I want to get something in writing from the fire chief before we have sparklers.
Good. What else you got?
If you don't mind, I'm gonna ask that we not discuss the signs right now because I have a meeting that is supposed to be scheduled between some people that wanted to present it in the selectman's office, the Land Preservation Society, so I'd like to just,
Mum's the word.
okay. Just a few people, and Josh, and Josh also, so I just think it would be a little preliminary to start wasting our time on this right now.
When is the time of the meeting?
I will let you know. We were supposed to schedule it yesterday, I cannot make it, I was in Mass all day, so we have to reschedule it.
Who's going to be there?
The zoning committee, the selectmen, a couple people from selectmen's office, we invited, Joe Mazza did say yes. I don't know if anybody else is coming, Shirley Gioni from the land, Guilford Preservation.
Just make sure that all the selectmen are at least invited.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the selectmen would have approved it, no?
No, they have not.
They have not approved it. They have not
They haven't
even had a
discussed it.
discussion or a meeting.
So we're gonna have a meeting on it.
They've approved the idea of it in a sense. I mean, more than a sense, because it is, they approved a budget with money to purchase a unit like this. So they have approved that, and that Joe Maz has requested that we amend the zoning regulations to allow it. So they haven't approved any specific.
Before we go straight, we want to go back, the selectmen asked, we'd say, according to George, you've approved this.
They approved the idea of this because they put this in the budget. This has been in.
When did they do that?
I don't know when they made up the budget. In fact, the voters of the town approved it.
Yes,
But
you
that
really
doesn't-
should have everyone at the meeting.
Yeah, so it's got to be noticed as a
Oh,
special
good.
meeting or whatever.
Can you just email all of us, because we need to figure out exactly what this thing is. Can you email us when you actually have the time and place and date for the meeting?
Anybody can
No,
vote.
this has to be, as you know, we have to amend the zoning regulations to allow this, so it's going to be public hearings and all of that, once we draft the specific language.
The zoning committee meeting has to be open to the public as well.
Correct, that's correct.
I'm sure the reporters are going to want to be there. Mr. Chairman, there is some minutes before us of the 5-3 regular meeting. I have read them, and they appear substantially correct. I make a motion that we approve them.
Second? All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, inasmuch as there's no further business before this commission, I make a motion that we close the meeting.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Tom, second that.